Hello and welcome to Beyond the Numbers, the podcast where we go behind the dashboards, under the spreadsheets, and straight into the heart of the operational chaos so many growing organizations deal with, especially in healthcare. I'm Randy Kardas, CPA consultant, software developer, and full-time financial systems guide to firms that have outgrown their tools and haven't found their strategy. And today we're diving deep into one of the most mission-critical industries in the world, healthcare. More specifically, orthopedic groups, medical practices, and the like. This episode is going to be a comprehensive walkthrough of why healthcare organizations are turning to Sage Intacct as their financial foundation and Campbell Technology Advisors as their guide. If you're a CFO trying to scale without losing visibility, or a controller drowning in Excel, or a practice administrator trying to make a broken tech stack work across your organization, maybe you've got 3 entities and a dozen physicians, this one's for you. We're going to walk through the pain points, show how Sage Intacct solves them, and outline how Campbell Technology Advisors and Campbell & Company are helping practices like yours make the leap to a smarter, more integrated financial future. Let's dig in. Let's start by telling the truth no one puts in the board deck. Most healthcare finance teams are stuck in a constant state of controlled chaos. And I say controlled generously. Because if you've got one large location or 2 or multiple entities, or you've merged with a group that still insists on sending their reports as PDFs, you already know the reality I'm talking about. You're not managing one business, you're managing 5, sometimes 10, all pretending to be one cohesive organization. Let's paint the picture. The multi-site, multi-headache reality. You've got patient care happening at 8 different clinic locations. Surgeries being scheduled through a central hospital partnership. Imaging handled in-house, in some locations outsourced in others. Payroll running through a third-party vendor with separate codes for each provider, and probably not integrated. Inventory tracked in your EMR, sometimes, but usually in a spreadsheet. Revenue generated from a mix of in-person visits, procedures, follow-ups, and ancillary services like physical therapy or DME. Payers ranging from Medicare and Medicaid to commercial plans to cash pay patients, and a finance team still trying to manage it all with QuickBooks and a VLOOKUP that hasn't worked since October. And we haven't even gotten to the great part where your CFO is asked to present accurate margin insights by location, provider, or procedure in a board meeting with 2 days notice. Now let's talk data, because the average growing medical practice doesn't suffer from a lack of data. It suffers from a lack of data clarity. You've got billing reports in your EHR, time tracking data in your HR or payroll system, accounts payable and vendor spend in your accounting software, inventory usage somewhere in a warehouse manager's head or a staff's head, and custom reports being pulled and keyed manually every week by a team member who, let's be honest, is probably polishing their resume by now. If not, transforming that process is not in their wheelhouse. Here's what that looks like in practice. A controller spends 60% of their time rekeying that data from one system to another. An admin team builds reports that look consistent but are stitched together from 4 sources, and no one trusts the numbers. An operations lead is asking the finance team to explain why overtime is spiking, but you can't tie hours worked to patient volume across locations. A revenue forecast is best guess, not based on real pipeline activity. And everyone's too busy fighting fires to fix the infrastructure that causes them. Let's be clear, this isn't bad people. Your people are heroes. Controllers working nights. COOs duct-taping data together for tomorrow's investor or owner's call. CFOs trying to be strategic but stuck in spreadsheet land. Even the front desk staff, they're toggling between 3 systems just to check in one patient. But heroes can't thrive in systems built for survival mode. And in many practices, the tech stack was never designed. It was patched. It started with QuickBooks, then an EMR, then an outsourced payroll provider, then maybe a dashboarding tool that required a $10,000 integration quote, just to show accounts receivable by payer class. It grew with the practice, but it didn't scale with intention. And the moment you hit a certain size, usually around 3 to 5 locations, or when you add surgery centers, the cracks become structural. The financial fallout. Here's what this all adds up to. Month-end close takes 3 weeks and still doesn't feel reliable. Cash flow projections based on feel, not fact. Dashboards that are really just PDFs in disguise. A budget that doesn't get used because it doesn't tie to your actual operational reality. A leadership team that's frustrated, but not sure who to blame. In a sense that no matter how much revenue you bring in, you're always playing catch up. And the worst part, you know you're not running at your potential. You feel the inefficiencies in the team burnout, in decision-making lag, in misaligned compensation, in duplicate work, in missed opportunities to optimize spend or increase margins. But you don't have the time, the tools, or the support to break the cycle until now. The moment for change. This is the moment a lot of healthcare leaders realize that what got them here won't get them there, that QuickBooks can't handle your consolidation needs, that Excel isn't a financial system, that running a $25 million practice on duct tape and goodwill isn't sustainable. And this is where the story shifts. Because yes, the real pain is real, but so is the solution. And then the next segment, we're going to unpack it. Sage Intacct isn't just better software. It's a financial operating system that understands your business model and actually works the way healthcare works. Because at the end of the day, your financial tools should do more than help you survive. They should help you lead. What makes Sage Intacct different for healthcare? Now that we've unpacked the pain, let's talk about the solution. And no, it's not just buying new software, because if that were true, every shiny CRM or reporting tool would have already fixed the healthcare finance chaos. Sage Intacct isn't just software, it's a platform. And more importantly, it's a platform built by people who understand that healthcare isn't like running a manufacturing plant, a SaaS startup, or a law firm. Healthcare, and especially multi-site specialty healthcare like orthopedics, is its own beast. And Sage Intacct wasn't just retrofitted for healthcare. It was designed for it. So let's get really clear. What actually makes Sage Intacct different? First up, multi-office. Because in healthcare, growth doesn't just mean bigger, it means more complicated. New locations in different states, different tax IDs and provider numbers, separate operating LLCs for imaging, surgery, PT, and consulting. Physician ownership models mixed with private equity, partial ownership. Management service organizations, MSOs, layering on administrative oversight. Most accounting systems, even ones that claim to do multi-entity, fall apart here. You end up with different databases per entity, no consolidated real-time view, manual eliminations, and a monthly reconciliation circus. Sage Intacct solves this with true continuous real-time multi-entity consolidations. Add a new location in minutes, not months. Consolidate across entities without manual journal entries. Automatically manage intercompany transactions or inter-provider, inter-office, inter-department allocations. You can see multi-entity financials and consolidated reports live, not at month end, not after 5 emails, in real time. And that means CFOs and controllers can finally manage the business proactively instead of just reporting on it after the fact. 2, multi-dimensional reporting, not just financials, but operational insights. In healthcare, you're not just managing dollars, you're managing dimensions. Provider profitability, location level margins, procedure level cost and revenue, payer class mix, patient visit volume. Sage Intacct lets you tag transactions by custom dimensions at the point of entry, not later during reporting cleanup. Imagine seeing in one dashboard net revenue by physician across 3 offices, cost of goods sold by surgical site, overtime labor costs tied to physical therapy volume, supplier spend by orthopedic procedure type. And imagine getting that without exporting, pivoting, or bribing someone with coffee and pizza to rebuild the reports manually. You build it once and it updates live. This is how you move from reporting on the past to predicting the future. 3, true cloud HIPAA compliance. And I know cloud sounds like marketing jargon at this point, but in healthcare, finance true cloud matters because you're not managing one clinic with 5 people anymore. You need remote access for finance and ops teams working across locations, automatic backups, real-time collaboration across departments. No more VPN logins just to update one journal entry. Mobile-friendly dashboards for administrators and execs, and you need it to be secure. Sage Intacct is HIPAA certified, independently audited, and ready to sign business associate agreements. This means you're not only protecting patient information, you're protecting your organization legally and operationally. You don't have to choose between flexibility and compliance anymore. You get both. 4, an open API, real integration, not lip service. Most healthcare finance teams live in integration purgatory. You've got EHR data, payroll systems, procurement and supply chain tools, CRM platforms tracking referrals and partnerships, external labs and imaging revenue streams. And they almost never talk easily. Sage Intacct is different. It was built with an open API model, meaning integrations aren't an afterthought. They're expected. What that means for you, you can connect to your EHR, Advanced MD, Athena, Cario, Epic, ModMed. You can pull in payroll, UKG, Kronos, Paylocity, EDP, and you can automate AR from your billing software. You can connect CRM pipelines directly to revenue forecasting. And if you use a tool that isn't already pre-built for Sage, custom integrations are faster, cheaper, and more stable because the architecture expects it. This is what modern healthcare back office operations should feel like, connected and not cobbled together. 5, automation where it really matters. Let's talk automation because in healthcare finance, automation often means another report you have to triple check. Sage Intacct automates tasks that matter. AP bill automation. AI scans incoming invoices, matches them to vendors, flags anomalies, and auto codes them. An outlier detection system takes the first stab at flagging duplicate entries, coding errors, or missed approvals before the close. Revenue recognition. Smart schedules automate earned revenue versus deferred revenue across procedure types or contractual agreements. Approval routing. You set thresholds. Maybe over $10,000, it triggers a second approver. Done automatically. This isn't automation that creates busy work. It's automation that actually buys your team their time and sanity back. And when you combine that with real-time dashboards and multi-entity consolidation, you go from reactive finance to strategic leadership. Why it matters. If you're managing a medical practice today, your reality is only going to get more complex. More procedures, more surgical centers, more payer types, more private equity interest, more regulatory complexity, more margin pressure. You can't scale guesswork. You can't scale spreadsheets. You can't scale systems built for a smaller, simpler time. Sage Intacct is the financial infrastructure you need to lead, grow, and stay agile without burning out your team or your sanity. And that's not hype, that's reality. All right, now that we know what makes Sage Intacct fundamentally different for healthcare, let's get into the features. The ones that actually matter to you if you're sitting in the CFO chair, running operations across 5 clinics, managing 3 dozen providers, or building out a business plan for expansion. Because here's the deal. When you're choosing financial software, it's easy to get buried under feature lists, but not all features matter equally. So today, I'm cutting through the noise. I'm showing you the real-life functionality that's going to move the needle in your world. 1, close the books faster, smarter, and with fewer headaches. Month-end close isn't just an accounting chore. In healthcare, it's a race against time to update stakeholders, spot financial risks, manage cash, and make decisions. Right now, for your medical practice, the close looks like this: chasing journal entries across entities, manual eliminations for intercompany activities, waiting for clinics to send in their numbers, reconciling bank statements across 7 logins, hand keying data from billing reports into the general ledger. Sound familiar? With Sage Intacct, your close moves from chaotic to controlled. Continuous consolidation. Subsidiary ledgers roll up automatically. Automated inter-office entries. No manual tracking of cross-office AR or AP or inter-entity AR AP. Real-time dashboards. You're never waiting until month end to know where you stand. Drill down auditability. Every number on your P&L or balance sheet can be clicked into and explained without exporting a spreadsheet. Result? 40 to 70% faster close times, depending on the starting point. Dramatically reduced manual errors. A finance team that's analyzing results, not just assembling them. 2, accounts payable automation that actually works for healthcare. Let's be honest, in healthcare, AP is a beast. You're managing medical supplies, implant vendors, professional services, lease agreements, facility management costs, IT service providers, equipment leases, all spread across multiple locations, often with decentralized purchasing. Without strong AP systems, you end up with missed early payment discounts, late vendor payments, and damaged relationships. Duplicate payments, no clear sense of spend by department or vendor. Sage Intacct fixes this with AI-driven bill capture and data entry. It pulls from emails and PDFs data and automatically classifies and codes it. No more mistyped department codes or custom approval workflows. Let it route invoices based on department or amount or vendor. Built-in spend visibility. See vendor payments, commitments, and budgets in real time. For healthcare finance teams, this means control without bottlenecks. It also frees your AP team to work on real vendor relationships, not just chase paper. 3, financial dashboards built for healthcare leaders. Sage Intacct doesn't just generate reports, it generates actionable insights right out of the box. You can build dashboards by role, a CFO dashboard with cash flow forecasts, net patient revenues by payer, contribution margin by service line, or days cash on hand. One of my favorites, the practice administrator dashboard. Revenue by location, staffing ratios, revenue per full-time equivalent, patient volume trends, collections versus target. Then we have board reporting, dashboards dedicated to this, EBITDA trends, AR aging buckets, project budget tracking, strategic KPI scorecards. And here's the kicker. These dashboards aren't PowerPoints your team updates manually every month. They're live, tied to the underlying accounting, clinical, and operational systems. When revenue shifts at a clinic, when a payer dispute hits your AR, when a hiring freeze changes labor ratios, your dashboard instantly reflects it. 4, physician compensation management. Physician comp is one of the most emotional, political, and operationally complex areas of healthcare finance, especially in practices where providers often expect productivity-based bonuses, collection-based splits, quality or patient satisfaction incentives, administrative or teaching stipends, ownership distributions if they're equity holders. Are you trying to manage all of that with spreadsheets? Because that's nightmare fuel. With Sage Intacct, we can automate calculations and tie actual financial results directly to bonus payouts. Real-time visibility. Providers and managers can track comp metrics during the year, not just at bonus season. Audit trails. Every number can be explained, protecting you during disputes. This transforms compensation from a source of tension into a transparent, data-driven conversation. 5, inventory and surgical supplies tracking. In surgical practices, surgical supplies are money. Implants, devices, disposable surgical tools, pharmaceuticals, they drive costs. But here's the ugly truth. 60% of specialty practices track supply usage manually. 40% can't reconcile surgery supply costs to case charges. Over-ordering stockouts and expiration issues are rampant. Sage Intacct, when paired with basic inventory integrations, fixes this too. Purchase order management. Orders tied directly to vendors and inventory levels. Inventory counts. We can track usage by location, procedure, and even surgeon. Automated cost allocations. We can automate supply cost at the case or procedure level. Alerts and thresholds. Set reorder points and budget limits. Suddenly, surgical supply spend isn't a black hole. It's a manageable, visible cost center, and that impacts margins fast. 6. Grant and program management. For groups involved in research, teaching hospitals, community outreach, or grant-funded initiatives, tracking budgets and expenditures separately is made possible by Sage Intacct. We can automate compliance reporting for funders, allocate overhead transparently across projects or grants, support audits with clean, consistent data trails. This makes grants a source of strategic growth, not a compliance liability. 7. Planning and budgeting. Optimal expansion with Sage Intacct planning. If you want to go next level, add Sage Intacct planning. You get rolling forecasts, driver-based budgeting models, scenario analysis. What happens if volume drops 5%? Collaborative input across finance, ops, and clinical leadership. No more emailing budget templates. No more guessing which file is final. Just a living plan tied directly to your real operations. So, why does this matter? Why do these features really matter? In short, they aren't just nice to have features. They're essentials for the kind of business model healthcare is becoming. Multi-office, data-driven, tightly regulated, and financially strategic. You can either duct tape it all together with manual workarounds, or you can architect a system that actually grows with you. Sage Intacct doesn't just replace your accounting system. It replaces your financial anxiety with confidence. All right, so by now you're starting to see it. You're starting to realize what life could look like after the spreadsheets, after the guessing, after the month-end close chaos. But here's the thing. Technology is just one half of the solution. The right platform, Sage Intacct, it's essential. But the right partner to guide the strategy, handle the heavy lifting, and make sure the system actually serves your people. That's where the real magic happens. And that's where Campbell Technology Advisors comes in, because we don't just sell software. We build financial ecosystems for healthcare organizations who are serious about leading, scaling, and thriving. So today, let's walk through the top 10 reasons healthcare groups choose to partner with us. 1, we understand healthcare complexity. Healthcare finance isn't like retail or manufacturing or tech. You're managing multi-payer reimbursements, provider productivity models, complex entity structures with physician owners, surgical centers, imaging centers, ancillary services, regulatory compliance layers, HIPAA, CMS. We've been there. We speak your language. We know how decisions made in billing impact financial reporting. We understand how your compensation models tie back to operational and clinical data. And we build financial systems that respect that complexity without adding unnecessary noise. 2, we build strategy first, then implement the tech. We don't lead with product demos. We lead with listening. What's broken in your current workflows? Where are your team's biggest bottlenecks? What do your CFO, your controller, and your leadership actually need? What growth plans do you have? New locations, services, mergers on the horizon? We architect the future state before we ever turn on a piece of software, because a fancy platform slapped on top of a broken process is just a more expensive problem. We fix the foundation first. 3, we're integration experts, not just accounting experts. Most firms stop at we'll get the books in order. We go way beyond that. We specialize in EMR integrations. We specialize in HR and payroll integrations, CRM integrations, time tracking and inventory system integrations. Our mission is simple. One source of truth. So your financial data isn't just cleaner, it's connected to the clinical operations, workforce management, and strategic planning. 4, we build dashboards for decision makers, not just accountants. Most firms will give you a balance sheet and a P&L and call it a day. We deliver executive dashboards for leadership, operational scorecards for clinic managers, departmental views for service line analysis, physician level profitability reports for provider groups, and we make them live. No more emailing spreadsheets every Friday. No more final V3 files floating around. Everyone sees the same numbers at the same time, and that means faster, better decisions. 5, we drive speed without sacrificing quality. We know you can't afford a 2-year implementation timeline. Revenue doesn't pause for a system upgrade. Expansion plans don't wait for IT fixes. Physician partners don't have unlimited patience. That's why our methodology is focused, phased, and fast. A typical new Sage Intacct healthcare client can go live in 4 to 6 months, maybe 3, but not 18. We focus on minimum viable systems first, then layer in enhancements once you're stabilized and reaping real value, because momentum matters. 6, we de-risk data migration. Moving financial and operational data is scary. We get it. You're worried about data integrity, especially around AR balances and patient receivables. Historical reporting continuity. Mapping your legacy chart of accounts to a smarter structure. We handle this carefully. Data extraction from legacy systems, cleansing and validation, preload testing, parallel processing during transition, audit trails for compliance. Bottom line, you won't lose visibility. You'll gain confidence. 7, we excel at multi-office, multi-site complexity. If you've got clinics in multiple states or multiple locations, separate legal entities under one management structure, shared services like centralized billing, HR, supply chain, M&A activity in the growth plans, we're built for you. From continuous consolidations to intercompany automation to location level profitability modeling, we know how to architect a system that doesn't collapse under your expansion plans. This is our sweet spot. 8, we prioritize change management and team adoption. Even the best technology fails if your people don't use it. That's why we bake in hands-on user training, department-specific workshops, written guides and SOPs, leadership coaching on change communication, post-go-live hypercare, and support. We don't just flip the switch and disappear. We stay in the trenches until your team is confident, capable, and thriving. 9, we customize without overcomplicating. We love configuration. We hate over-customization. That means we tailor your Sage Intacct instance to meet your workflow needs. But we don't build so much technical debt that you're trapped forever. We use clicks, not code, wherever possible, keeping your system flexible, upgradable, and manageable without a PhD in IT. You get customization where it matters, not for vanity, but for value. 10, we build long-term partnerships, not one-off projects. Our goal isn't just to implement an invoice. Our goal is to become your technology advisor, your financial systems strategist, your operational efficiency consultant, a growth enabler. We're the team you call before a major acquisition, before a new service line launch, before you present your next 5-year strategic plan to the board. Because we're not just invested in getting you live, we're invested in helping you lead. We have a combination of service lines at Campbell & Company to help facilitate this, not just in advisory, but in strategic tax planning and wealth management. So why does this all matter? Choosing Sage Intacct is a transformational move. Choosing the right partner to guide you through it is what ensures that transformation actually delivers. At Campbell Technology Advisors, we know healthcare, we know finance, we know operations, and most importantly, we know how to turn financial chaos into strategic clarity. And if you're ready to scale with confidence, and if you're ready to lead with visibility, if you're ready to stop guessing and start commanding your numbers, we're ready to walk the path with you. So here we are. We've spent some time walking through the realities of healthcare finance today. And we've explored the real, tangible solution. Sage Intacct, not just accounting software, but a true financial operating platform built for the complexity and agility that healthcare demands. Campbell Technology Advisors, not just implementers, but long-term partners who understand healthcare, finance, operations, and change management better than anyone. So the question you have to ask yourself now is simple. How long are you willing to wait before solving the problem you already know you have? Why waiting until next year is the most expensive decision you'll make? I hear it all the time. Let's fix it after busy season. Let's stabilize it first, then upgrade. Maybe next fiscal year we'll revisit systems. And I get it. Change feels risky. Taking on a transformation project when you're already stretched thin feels overwhelming. But let's be clear, waiting doesn't stabilize anything. Waiting just compounds the pain. Another 12 months of inaccurate, incomplete reports. Another year of staff burnout from manual processes. Another budgeting cycle built on best guesses instead of actual insights. Another wave of regulatory or payer complexity that your current tools can't handle. Waiting is not neutral. Waiting costs you money, efficiency, morale, and strategic opportunities every single month. The practices that thrive aren't the ones who get ready perfectly. They're the ones who realize that building better systems is stabilization. Imagine 12 months from now. Imagine your financials closing 50% faster and with fewer surprises. Your CFO walking into a board meeting with a live dashboard, not a PDF deck 3 weeks old. Your operations leader reallocating overtime spend based on real-time staffing data. Your physician owners seeing accurate, automated compensation statements tied directly to their productivity. Your growth plans, new sites, new service lines, even M&A activity being fueled by financial systems designed to scale. And imagine the peace of mind knowing that your HIPAA compliance is covered. Your integrations are working. Your financials are trusted, not second guessed. Your team is no longer surviving. They're thriving. That's not fantasy. That's what we build, and we build it every day with healthcare organizations just like yours. When you work with Campbell Technology Advisors, you're not buying a product, you're starting a transformation. We know what it's like inside your medical practice. We understand the politics, the urgency, the patient-centered mission that never slows down, even when the financial systems creak. We speak CFO, controller, COO, physician owner fluently. We blend technology expertise with operational empathy. Because at the end of the day, you're not buying Sage Intacct, you're buying clarity. You're buying visibility. You're buying leadership capacity. And that's the real investment you're making. Here's what I invite you to do today. Visit mycampbellandco.cpa. Schedule a discovery call with me or my team. Let's talk candidly, practically, about where you are today. Where do you want to go? And what it will actually take to get you there. No pressure, no endless sales pitch, just a real conversation about building a healthcare finance function that finally matches the excellence you deserve in clinical care. Because your patients deserve operational excellence behind the scenes just as much as it's in front of the scene. And your team deserves better tools and better partners. We're ready when you are. That's it for today's Beyond the Numbers episode. I'm Randy Kardas. Thanks for spending this time with me. Thanks for caring enough about your future to think strategically today. And I'll see you next time where we go beyond the spreadsheets, beyond the dashboards, beyond the duct tape, and always beyond the numbers.